Hello there, Bic Benedict here. We're playing Spec Ops The Line on the PC on FUBAR difficulty, and this is my guide and walkthrough. We're currently on Chapter 7 of 15. It is entitled The Battle. There are, well, when I first did this guide back in 2012, I made 2 videos for Chapter 7, and the reason why I had to make 2 videos is that there is a moral choice halfway through the chapter, and you can pursue whichever path you want to. If you're a completionist, you're probably going to be wanting to do both of the paths. Now, there are two paths. The first one is the trophy or achievement is called A Man of Patience, which is the stealth route. There's also the action-oriented path where you actually do the combat, and it's called A Man of Action. So this chapter is called The Battle. I'm not sure what battle they're referring to, because there are 2 pretty huge battles in this chapter. So I think they're referring to the second most battle. You didn't see, but there was a body that fell through the skylight in the middle of the room. He had the 417, the semi-automatic assault rifle with a really good scope on it, and I really like this weapon, but I don't think it's very powerful. I don't get that feeling from having used it. But instead of making 2 videos for Chapter 7, what I decided to do is I am going to be covering both paths. And once we get to the fork in the road where you can make your decision, I will first have the stealth route, and then right after that, I will have the actual combat. So if whichever path you decide, this will help you. This video will help you. And if you're pursuing both paths, you're doubly lucky. Your troubles hopefully are going to cease, because these battles actually are pretty damn tough. I think that this battle, it's hard to say, it really is. This is one of those battles coming up that unfortunately the teammates keep falling down. Now, sometimes it's more than just that you're not making them, you're not, it's more than just you're not, how do I say it? Like, you're not forcing them to kill people and put them out of cover and do their own route and potentially put them in harm's way. And it's funny to think of it too, because they're in harm's way every second of the game. So I just don't understand why sometimes they just fall more often than normal. And it's just it's true for me personally. Like, I always notice it. And those are the fights that I die on the most because of having to go get them. But what I was saying about it being more than just putting them at, Adam has a saw somehow. We're going to be encountering our first heavy over here too, and the heavy is the saw wielder over here. So Adams has got himself some good shit, but I got sidetracked right there. What it is too is that if you are experiencing your comrades falling in combat a lot, and you're not putting them in harm's way by targeting enemies and making them do things, what it might then be is that you're not being as aggressive as perhaps you need to be. So that is something to think about. So if you're just noticing that they're falling down in combat, even despite what you're doing, try to be a little bit more proactive in the fight. And sometimes I realize that it is hard because of these situations. I don't understand it. Like, yeah, they fall down and then they just sit there like a rock. It's just this game. The decision about it just vexes me. I find it funny. But anyway, this fight over here is quite hard. Enemies are going to be very aggressive. They're going to be scaling the ramparts in the distance. You're often going to find enemies hugging the tank over here. So if you look, there's going to be an enemy like right over there. So always watch your flanks over here, because they see all these enemies that come down. There are a ton of enemies over here. So you've got to really You've got to do slow progress, but realize that it's going to pay off in the end. There is also an enemy that is on one of the upper platforms on the billboard, but by the highway signs. But I think we've already taken him out. So see, classic clipping, just classic clipping. So this game actually is not one that you can depend on the third-person cover trick too much. But if you are kind of in a jam and you want to blind enemies and hopefully try to extricate yourself from that jam, the stun grenades are really helpful for that. So I'm going to push up a little bit, and now what we've got to deal with is that there's a mounted gun in the bus coming up. Oh, there's the guy by the billboard. Sometimes what you're seeing is I'm trying to just locate targets, and oftentimes I don't put the little triangle indicator off of them, and I inadvertently assign my teammates targets to kill when I'm just trying to locate targets. So just don't take it for granted that I'm always trying to make them kill people for me. Most of the time, it's just a good way just to find where enemies are hiding. It's really good, actually. But when you push up to about here, you're still going to hear the noise of enemies running around and yelling and things like that. But it's enemies that are beyond the bus. So don't be afraid to approach the bus, because once you approach the bus, you're going to get a checkpoint like you just saw right over there. Now, what you can do now is you want to flank the bus, push forward, and then if you want to throw a stun so that you can get to cover, I think I'm going to refrain from doing that because I want to save my stun grenade. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a sticky grenade at this wall over here, because if you hover the targeting indicator over it, it will show you that it's collapsible. It'll have that little skull and crossbones icon. But for the life of me, I couldn't find the weak point in that wall, so I just said, to hell with it, I'll just throw a sticky grenade on it, let that blow it up, and it actually worked. I was just getting really frustrated. I couldn't find it, and with all that suppressive fire over there, like, you can't even aim without getting killed instantly. So anyway, this checkpoint is miserable. It's got a fairly easy fight, but I just love walking this slowly. I just love it. Every time you have to walk this slowly. And what's going to be happening up here is that your teammates are going to get the scent of not only of death over here, but of the white phosphorus. I've never smelled that, but I have no idea what it is. It's probably very unpleasant, but what's coming up over here is you've got a heavy and you've got two lackeys. I think the lackeys flank him on either side, but it's hard to see the heavy, but I would prioritize killing him first beyond all else. Now sometimes these heavies do a little jog, sometimes they walk really slowly. This is an instance of a heavy walking pretty slowly. So the heavy's right in the middle. He's right over there. So get a couple of headshots and helmet shots, and then what you want to do is just hang back here and have your teammates hopefully help you out and kill the lackeys. What I'm going to try to do is land a sticky grenade on this cover over here, and I'm trying to time it so that the heavy will get damaged by the sticky grenade. He walks so slowly, quite honestly, guys, that even if you threw a sticky grenade at his feet, he would still get damaged despite when you threw it, because of his slow gait over here. And for your trouble, you get the saw, which I just don't like it. It takes an eternity to reload, so I usually avoid the saw. But okay, so that's the slow moving heavy. The heavy that's coming up over here is the same heavy. If you want to, you can pick up the scout tactical over there. But the heavy that we're going to find in a moment after we do the stealth part is going to be he has a little jog to his character. So anyway, this is the the route that you will want to take if you want the Man of Patience trophy / achievement. So all you need to do is just follow Adams over here to the left, and if you get this wrong, it doesn't matter because the game checkpoints down here. So you also, since at checkpoints, there's no going back over here. So this is what you have to do. So all you have to do over here is just follow Adam's lead. It's that simple. If you don't have a weapon that has a suppressor on it, a silence suppressor, they do offer you one coming up. So I already have one, so that's why I've already equipped it. But here's the interrogation and the little scene up here with Gould. They're gonna let him rot. So like I said, if you have any problems, I don't think you have to crouch walk either if you don't want to, but I didn't want to mess this up. You've got to wait through a lot of dialogue at first. So and right over here, just like it says, just let Adams doesn't ever screw this up either. So this is the guy that has a gun with a suppressor on it. So if you don't have one, that's the one that you're going to get to use on the next batch of enemies. So just hang back, let Adams do his thing. And what happens up here is that Adams knocks over a barbell and betrays his location over here. And I believe these pillars aren't close enough to do a SWAT turn. But what you want to do is take out the enemy that hears Adam's mistake and then proceed forward. All that's left to do is take out one of two enemies up here. Adams is going to take out the next one. So just wait until Adam says choose your target, and then shoot one or the other of these two enemies, and then all you've got to do at that point is head on over to Gould, secure your checkpoint, and then you're going to be heading through the gate over there to the right. But you do have to first check on Gould. Now here's the Man of Action course. The good thing about this, it's also really good to get those 3 headshots like that, because the game goes in slow motion the first headshot you get, and then it makes it really easy to get headshots on the other guys because the game's going in slow motion, and it's kind of putting the game on temporary pause so you can get a really easy headshot. But in a moment we're going to be getting, and this part is also a part where your allies keep falling in combat. But the good thing about the Man of Action in both sequences is that they're very nicely checkpointed. So once you make your decision, they recognize it, and they speed up the dialogue by not forcing you to watch everything. So it's really considerate. Here's the heavy that sprints. Fuck these heavies, man. Sometimes I just think to myself, fuck these heavies. I like their voices though. I do. I wasted a lot of grenades on that son of a shitter, and I think he's still over there to the right, winding his goddamned horn. Yeah, here he is. Unbelievable that this heavy's still alive. I can't believe I lived over here. He needs to be your priority over here, but this area is very hard to survive in. And the only reason I'm up here is because I wanted to be able to pick up teammates that I knew were probably going to fall in combat. So I did my part, and now I'm going to hang back here. And it's just a damn shame that they keep falling. But in the distance, there are these support boards in the distance held up by beams, and you could see sand falling out of them. See that? So there's the game is showing you that there's a structural weakness there, and you can use it to bury enemies, and I think you can use it to prevent spawns because these guys come over here. But I had a hard time locating where exactly the weak points were. So I'm too far away to throw a grenade, so I said, to hell with it. You know, there can't be that many enemies, and there aren't. Scout Tactical would really be helpful over here. There's also an RPG in the middle of the arena by a camel. See that camel statue? Right in front of that, there's an RPG, but getting to it is pretty tough. But at least we can pick it up afterwards and take it with. So it's hard to tell you about how to, like, where you might want to stand on this part over here. I did notice the teammates falling in combat a lot over here. So what if you decided to just stand here the entire fight? I think I may have done that in the past. I think you could get away with just issuing heal commands to your teammate. I think that would work, honestly. As long as the heavy is dealt with. So anyway, sections cleared. I did skip the part of going over to Gould. He ends up dying anyway, despite our efforts to save him. But that is the harder of the two paths, and you will get a trophy / an achievement for doing it. And I will see you guys in the 8th chapter. It is entitled The Gate, I believe. So please take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next chapter. Take care.